Can you believe it? A single shove can kill. The question slices the cold air like a blade. If an 4-year-old man suddenly flew backward and hit the ground in front of you, what would you do in the next 3 seconds? Rush to help, freeze, or turn away? Welcome to Shadows of Migration, where the shadows are told. A winter morning in Ansa Vista, San Francisco. Mist hangs like a sheer veil over the steps. The bus at the bottom of the slope inhales like a steel whale. Vicha Ratanapakdi leaves his daughter's apartment, his left hand holding a knit cap, his right hand fingering a worn Buddhist prayer bead in his pocket. The doctor told him to walk every day after heart surgery. He obeys. Steady as a chant, on the old Sonora steps later renamed Sunlight Needles through the leaves, laying soft gold across his jacket. In the apartment across the way, Eliza Cruz, an ER nurse, fresh off a night shift, brews coffee. The window is cracked. Arabica steam threading into sea salt air. Ba-r-r. She's used to seeing the knit-cap grandpa pass each morning. Slow, but sure. Kind eyes behind his glasses. She doesn't know his name yet. She tells herself, "Say hello tomorrow." The simplest of promises will never be kept. A young figure in a dark hoodie cuts across the street like an arrow. No warning. No glance. A slam straight into the old man's chest. Everything shatters. Time falls off its spring. The sound of skull on concrete so dry, so final, will echo in the neighborhood forever. Eliza spills the coffee and bolts down the steps. Skin scraping cement. She kneels beside him, both hands on his neck to keep the spine still, calling a name she doesn't know. Sir, sir. Stay with me. His eyelids flutter once, and still. Footsteps thud away. The security camera cold as a glass eye sees it all. 2 days later. The hospital is a maze of white light. His daughter, Monthanis, clutches her brother's hand, nails digging into skin as if she could pin down what's falling. When the doctor shakes his head, the room grows so huge, everyone feels small as paper clips. A morning walk ends in a memorial service. Saffron robes stirring in bay wind. A family holding one another. No sob loud enough to fill the silence. When police identify a suspect, the city's raw nerve is pricked. The press calls him Grandpa Vicha. Social media throws shards of glass made of words. Was it a hate crime? If not, then what do we call an Asian elder shoved to the ground in broad daylight? Motive becomes a trench. And sometimes that trench feels deeper than the grief itself. That evening, on the little square by the steps, people arrange candles around his photograph. The organizer is Mai Nguyen, second generation, raised in the Tenderloin. An activist since high school. Mai's voice boils like a kettle. We cannot call this a moment of anger. No, this is violence. This is age being dismissed. This is heritage being dismissed. Across the street, a local radio host named Rick Dalton yells through a bullhorn, "Stop politicizing tragedy. Don't pour more hate into this city." 2 groups, both shivering with cold, both blistered by helplessness, stare at each other across the candlelight as if through double-pane glass. Eliza stands at the edge, hands still shaking with the memory of eyes opening and closing. She hears the shouting and feels unmoored. She wants justice. But she also knows the storms of the young men she treats. She's watched lives snap from one wrong morning. She hates herself for the misplaced sympathy. Mai notices Eliza's hands, walks over, and places a candle in them. You tried. Thank you. Eliza's eyes glaze. The flame is small, but her hands tremble less. The next morning, City Hall hosts an emergency forum. The room is a stage far too small for so many tempests. On one side, Deputy District Attorney Monroe speaks evenly. We need specific evidence to charge a hate crime enhancement. Please trust the legal process. On the other, Pastor Jackson, a 60-year-old black minister from a church 5 blocks away, slow and heavy. When the law is slow, the community bleeds. Don't ask the grieving to just wait. Applause. Boos. A hand clenched so hard on a microphone that the knuckles go white. Security parts the aisle. There's a second where it feels like someone might shove someone else again. Then a Chinese-American homemaker named Lei stands, her voice fraying during the pandemic. I told my son not to speak Chinese outside. I'm tired. I just want my mother to shop without shaking. The room goes suddenly still. On the screen, a Zoom square pops up. Tasha, a relative of the suspect. He's not a monster, she says. He grew up between unsafe walls. Nights of shouting. He is angry, yes. He is wrong. But please don't turn us into your canvas for revenge. The video flickers. A whistle of derision. A bowed head. Mai clenches her fists, not sure where to put her rage. The city, like every big city, slides along hidden channels of feeling the murmur at the bus stop, the look inside a shop, comments that fall and crust like salt. Community groups meet non-stop. One morning, Mai proposes guardian walks escorts for elders on daily errands. Skeptics. How is that different from civilian patrols? Police Chief Hartman says. Measured walking. Together is good. Don't let it turn into hunting. On the radio. Rick, they'll manufacture more fear. Mai doesn't argue. She loops arms with aunties at the market. The sound of distant surf beating the seawall like a heart. In the family kitchen, Monthana spreads photos her father behind a birthday cake, fastening a button for a grandchild, logging into Zoom school, hauling Thai fruit from a small tenderloin shop. Her husband, Ari, an American history teacher, wants the highest possible sentence. Who shoved Dad should serve for a long time. Monthana shakes her head. I want to know why. I want to hear, I'm sorry. I want my father's name said in a place that isn't a morgue. They argue to exhaustion, then they sit quietly, hands laid atop each other, looking at the fridge where a yellow note reads, Grandpa walks 8 a.m. A rain-slick night outside the Thai temple on Larkin Street. Flyers are wedged in the gate. Go back to your country. A group of young men across the street snicker. Phones up. Monk Fra Anon says nothing. Just gestures. Clean. In 20 minutes, the gate shines. A 1-2-year-old Lao girl pries off tape with her nails. A Nepali Lyft driver pockets every scrap. Across the street, the laughter dies. The rain keeps coming. But the courtyard feels warm as a hearth. Next morning, the Sonora Steps get a new name. The city unveils the sign, Vicha Ratanapakdi Way. Wind snaps the U, S, and Thai flags side by side. Daniel Day Kim speaks. His words, quiet but rooted. Amanda Nguyen stands beside him, eyes wet. Eliza tucks into the crowd with an armful of daisies. When the blue cloth drops, the street sign looks like a carving that gathers all the tears into meaning. On the edge of the crowd, Rick pockets his phone. Not everything needs airtime. Some minutes should be silent. Silence doesn't last. A video spreads an elder woman robbed in Chinatown. Feeds screech. Some blame the thief alone. Some blame soft policies. Some blame new immigrants creating pressure. Anonymous handles per acid rain. Mai reads, her hands trembling. She thinks of Tasha, the suspect's cousin, locking her accounts under a hail of threats. Mai shuts the laptop, grabs a coat. I'm walking with the aunties. She texts the Guardian walks. We'll answer with our feet. Inside the courthouse, hearings line up like steps to a vanishing summit. The defense argues no premeditated malice. Imperfect awareness of age. The prosecution holds its line. Trial dates shift. The public sighs, some sneer, others try to remember justice as a turtle with a wide back. Whenever news breaks, Rick goes on air. We settle this with law, not mobs. Mai steps to the mic at a public comment. We're not asking to hang anyone in the square. We're asking for the dead to be named right, and the living fear to be called what it is. Elsewhere in the city, a freelance videographer named Kenji Park can't sleep. He was the first to obtain a neighbor's security footage and the one who shared it with the press. That video made the country look, but his mother, a Korean elder, no longer walks in the afternoons. Kenji is torn between the public must-see and my mother needs peace. He meets with Monthanas and sets an external drive on the table. I have clips I didn't release. Nothing new about the suspect, just the neighbors rushing in. You decide whether it should be public. She studies his tired eyes and whispers, "Thank you for asking me first." Another evening. At Pastor Jackson's fellowship hall. An impossible conversation Mai, the organizer, Tasha, the relative, Eliza, the nurse, and a retired cop named Frank Miller once criticized for rough treatment of the unhoused. The room is packed. Mai, I want safety. But what kind of safety is it if the suspect's mother gets death threats? Tasha, I want redemption, but I can't apologize for what I didn't do. Eliza explains how to place 2 fingers to stabilize a neck. How to count breaths with your eyes. Frank blue veins. Silverhair says softly, I used to think toughness was always the answer. Today I think success is when people still want to talk tomorrow. A young man jumps up. Forgiveness just lets bad guys roam. The rows tremble. Pastor Jackson lifts a hand. Scripture says, be slow to anger. Not because we're weak, because we let wisdom drive. The room settles like water after a thrown stone. At home. Monthanas teaches her child to pronounce the street Vicha Ra Tanapakti Way. The kid repeats wrong. Then right. Then giggles. Mom, why did someone shove Grandpa? The question hangs between 2 languages, 2 continents, 2 generations. Ari says, because someone never learned to look at a face without pasting a fear on it. Monthanas adds, because a system got used to letting some children grow up with unhealed rage, the child nods as if it makes sense. Then draws a grandpa in a knit cap, walking up flowered steps. Sunday morning. Guardian walks, shepherds a line of elders through the market. Steam from bough mingles with oranges and fresh grains. A young Latinx man jogs up. Breathless, I saw a grandpa alone on the hill. Let me walk with him. The elder smiles. Walk. But keep your eyes on the road. Laughter ripples. It spills around a corner where curses echoed 3 nights ago. People stare at the line many skins. Heights. Heartbeats like a chord discovering its harmony. By mid-year, posters about reporting hate incidents hang at bus stops in 5 languages. Stop AAPI. Hate still receives daily reports. The numbers don't ask the exact count today are heavy enough to bend a shoulder. But beneath the digits are faces. Offices run how to say my name, workshops. One company updates safety protocols for older staff. Pastor Jackson's church offers free walk-safe classes. Change rarely grabs a headline. It moves by inches. Roots deep, just as hope lifts its head. A small extremist group tries to hijack the first-year memorial. Someone snatches the mic. Someone chants against immigrants. The square tightens like a drum skin. Heat climbs my spine. Eliza always standing where she can sprint toward danger meets Mai's eyes. Don't let it blow. Mai steps up. Voice like steel. This is a memorial. If you want to argue, come to City Hall tomorrow. Today we say the name of the dead. She speaks each syllable like a rung on a ladder. Vaicha, Ra, Ta, Na, Pakde. The crowd repeats. The disruptor goes still. Dragged out of his one-man show. An older black man places a hand on his shoulder. A gentle downward press. Son. Step down. He surrenders the mic. The morning opens like sky. People ask, where is forgiveness in this? No one knows the formula. Forgiveness isn't a button. It's a wooden bridge laid plank by plank. Some days, Montanus opens a cardboard box, a photo of the knit cap, an old bus pass, the doctor's breathing exercises. She adds a new paper, Morning Steps AAPI Elders Walk Fund. She writes, we don't want another street name. We want one less funeral. Friends donate. A faux shop sponsors vouchers. A camera store gives out 10 personal alarms. Another few planks in the bridge. And Rick Dalton, the man who used to bark into a mic. One night he sits in his dark studio, replaying old tapes. His voice is all edges. Thrilled by stirring the pot. He pauses on a clip where the crowd screams. Suddenly, he's tired. Next day on air, he slows down. I thought my job was to wake the city with arguments. Today I'm trying something new, listening. The ratings dip a bit, but an email arrives. Thank you for letting us talk about our fear when taking grandma outside. He reads it 3 times. The city doesn't turn into paradise. The court calendar stays packed. Pain lingers like salt in the air. But some evenings the bay wind combs the sign Vicha Ratana Pakdi Way, and the trees whisper like the rustle of saffron robes. People pass. Pause, half a beat. Pronounce the hard name. And smile, because they got it right. A boy breaks his bike. Asks his dad. Who was he? The dad gives a short version. The boy nods. Then says, I'll slow down when I see old people. Grandpa? I'll walk with Dad. That whisper finally outshouts the running feet, not because it's loud, but because many voices say it together. Eliza remembers his name. Mai speaks it in every meeting. Tasha, though pelted with fury, keeps saying, I want the family to hear an apology someday. Rick reads the name on air without commentary, then leaves 60 seconds of silence. Montanus teaches her child the street. Syllables become planks, and the planks become a bridge over a ravine. So whose my country is it? the person who shoves the hardest, or the people who slow down beside the elderly. Lay a hand on their shoulder and say, "Let's go together." If you hear a whisper about someone's accent or face, try one simple line. Here, we start with hello. If you see an elder alone on a hill, walk the hill with them. If your office has a name that sounds foreign, be the first to say it right. Small deeds keep a big city from shaking apart. Night falls over San Francisco. Bay wind climbs the steps like fingers on a piano. The black and white sign is quiet, but I swear I hear it. Let's go together. Vicha can't hear it anymore, but we can. And we must answer. If this story moved you, don't let it pass, like yesterday's scrolling headline. Share the video so more people learn the name Vicha Ratanapakdi. Comment below in your neighborhood what needs to change so elders feel safe. And if you believe stories from the margins deserve to be told with respect and light, hit subscribe. This is Shadows of Migration. We'll keep telling these stories until no one fears a shove on the walk home.
Several characters and situations in this script: Eliza, Rick, Mai, Tasha, Kenji, Pastor Jackson, Frank Miller, Guardian walks, and specific dialogues are fictional or composite, crafted to cinematically portray social conflict and community emotion. They are not intended to represent any specific real individual.